Hey everyone, you're invited to Harpy Hour!
I'm Tracy.
I'm Liz.
I'm Steph.
We are the Harpies, and Harpy Hour is our new podcast featuring ridiculous stories in history, science, and entertainment.
Were you ever suspicious that pigeons were secretly spying on you?
How do you know who to eat first if you survive a shipwreck?
Do problematic musicals send you into an uncontrollable rage?
If so, then Harpy Hour might be your new favorite podcast. That's HARPY for Harpy, and new episodes air every Tuesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can also find us on all social media at Harpy Hour Pod.
And check us out on harpyhourpodcast.com.
Okay, bye!
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Crime Divers.
Hello everybody, welcome back.
Hello.
Back again for another episode.
I know, another one to do. I've actually got a little review to read if you don't mind before we start.
Go for it. Better be a good one.
We like to give people a shout out. So this review was done by Disappointed0990.
Oh, so is it a bad review?
No.
I was just thinking that the user is disappointed, so are they disappointed in us?
No, they say love it.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's obviously just their name.
Right.
So thanks for the review. It says, I'm here for all things true crime, and these ladies deliver with a sense of involving the listeners instead of keeping the story limited to the facts. A very good listen for cases abroad that I've never heard of. Great listen, and a new fan of the show.
Oh, okay, thank you.
They are from America, so that would obviously...
Yeah, I was going to say when it said abroad,
yes.
It's obviously not from this country.
I
But
know.
thank you so much. That's really appreciated.
That's a good review, isn't it? 'Cause
Yes.
to be fair, I like to think that we do... Because, I've listened to the few podcasts that I have listened to, and it is a bit boring when it's just facts. Like, I like a bit of a story and a bit of...
Yeah,
something,
everybody's
so,
different though.
yeah,
you know,
I
so, you know,
But
there is...
personally, I like
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I do listen to some that are just facts, and I listen to some that have a bit banter. So I do a bit of both.
I'm all for the banter, personally. But, you know, everybody's different, as you say, so...
Okay.
So, what's this one called today, then?
Murder or suicide?
Oh, so do we know, though? Will we find out?
No. You'll have your opinion.
Okay.
And I think your opinion will be the same as probably everybody else in the world.
Okay. And where is it in the world?
We're in the USA. We're in MISSISSIPPI.
Mississippi.
IPPISSISSIM.
I know. Totally random thing for our childhood. I don't know if anybody else did that.
MISSISSIM.
And then when you used to count and you'd be like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3... Yeah, okay.
They still do that because did Ross not do that in Friends when he was getting the spray tan?
Yeah, because is that not like a
second?
Yeah, it is actually a second, isn't it? Anyway, let's just dive in because I think we're just rambling on about Mississippi.
Yeah, but that's where we are.
Okay. Go.
So, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Jessica Johnson was a 37-year-old woman who lived in Horn Lake, Mississippi, USA. Mm-hmm. She was a single mum with 2 kids. Her son was 19 and her daughter was 8. Her kids were everything to her, and she was always there for them no matter what. As were their grandparents. Jessica and her kids lived with Jessica's mum and dad. She was a good mum, but she did start hanging with the wrong crowd, according to her family, and she changed. Mm-hmm. Back in 2013, Jessica was arrested for felony possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. The charges were dropped because she had been caught with some guys, and they had a big bag of meth, but the police couldn't determine whose it was, so...
Oh, right, okay.
She got a bit... Just set a bit of background, you know, to let you know that she was sort of getting in with the wrong crowd kind of thing.
Got it.
Jessica had been battling with drug addiction for years, but she was really trying to overcome her addiction. But even her taste in men changed. Apparently she was like really picky. Usually she was really picky when it came to men, but her last 2 boyfriends were completely different to her usual type. These guys were mean and controlling and narcissistic.
Oh, lovely.
And they had they were covered in tattoos, but she never usually went for men that had any tattoos.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe she thought the previous ones weren't working for her, so she was trying a different...
Maybe. Who knows? So, our current boyfriend was called Garland Hart.
Garland Hart.
Yeah. I've only ever heard of Garland as Garland as a surname, so it's kind of...
Yeah.
Never heard it as a Christian name, but
No. Well,
that was his name.
right.
That is his name, sorry.
Fair enough.
So he was into drugs. He was a dealer, and he even used her car when he was selling drugs.
Right.
He was abusive. He was in and out of prison, and he was just not a great guy.
Sounds rotten.
Yeah, just not a good guy. And our family and Jessica's family and friends just couldn't understand why she was with him. Like,
Yeah,
they just,
what was the attraction?
yeah, they just didn't see the appeal whatsoever. Right. They said he was mentally abusive and physically abusive, and she was like a possession to him.
Right. Okay.
And there were times when, like, friends had to go and pick her up because they'd got into a bad argument, and she even said to one friend, "This guy is going to kill me." So friends tried to convince Jessica to get rid of Garland, but anytime she did leave him, she always ended up going back, so...
Yeah, that's an all too familiar pattern for some people, isn't it? They just keep going back.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's... Especially when it's, if he's abusive and...
Yeah.
So, like, usually Jessica was really good at keeping in touch with her family. Like, whenever she went out, she would tell her parents where she was going, and she would phone or text them to know she was going to be late. And quite often she would send her mum her location, on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the 31st of March 2017, Jessica left the house and she told her mum she was going to Garland's for a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Garland was staying with a friend called Jessie, which was only about 5 miles away. The next day, which was the 1st of June, she spoke to her mum and her daughter on FaceTime, and she told them that she'd be home soon.
Right.
She never arrived.
Oh dear.
So the following day, Jessica's mum received a phone call from the county coroner and was told that her daughter had took her own life.
All right.
So this is quite disturbing, just to let you know how Jessica's body was found.
Right, okay.
So a mail carrier had discovered Jessica's body, and it was tied to a mailbox. So obviously our mailboxes are different here to what they are in America.
Yeah.
So in America, you know how they have their mailboxes like sort of out the front of the house, don't they? It's like a sort of
it's like on a stick, on a pole.
Yeah,
it's on a pole.
Like on a pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she was tied to that pole.
Right. Okay.
And this mailbox was in front of the house that she'd been staying at. This Jessie, that Garland had been staying with, was in front of that house.
Mm-hmm.
So the mail carrier panicked and called a colleague. He came and he actually took photos of Jessica.
Right.
So you can see the photos online that this guy took. You can see them online.
Right.
I'm not posting them because obviously not everybody wants to see that.
No.
So, I've seen the pictures because obviously because basically if you type in her name, those pictures are going to come up.
Right,
so
okay, yeah.
just to be aware, everybody, if anybody does want to Google her name, the pictures of her body is going to come up.
Right. Okay.
So just to warn you.
Uh-huh.
So basically, Jessica was kneeling down.
Right.
There were 2 shoelaces tied together and tied around her neck, and the other was around the mailbox.
Right. So she was kind of like hung.
Yeah, she was hung on the mailbox.
And they were saying that was suicide.
Yes. See, straight away.
Wow. I mean, I would instantly just that description of how she was found. I'd be thinking, if she was going to commit suicide, would she actually do it like that? I mean, I don't know because obviously you can't know because you're not in that person's mind at that moment in time. But it doesn't sound like a normal suicide hanging that I have, or we've all probably come across, and when we've read reports of people that have taken their own lives.
Yeah.
That's a very unusual one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Totally agree, which is why I just said you probably come to the same conclusion as everybody else, and I've only just told you a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically she was hung on the mailbox.
Right.
So one of the shoelaces was pulled across her...
I'm thinking it's just a random mailbox, like somebody's random mailbox.
I just told you whose it was.
Oh, sorry, I must have...
Were you not listening?
Sorry, I must have missed that, but...
The mailbox was at the front of the house that she was staying at.
Oh, right, sorry.
Garland's friend Jessie.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. I just obviously missed that part.
Do you want to just go home and I'll just do this podcast myself? Because what is the point if you're not going to listen?
I am listening, I just, for some reason, didn't hear that, but...
Okay. So, one of the shoelaces was pulled across her face and across her mouth. so it like pulled up her top lip.
Right.
So it looked like she kind of had like a kind of snarl on her face.
Oh, okay.
And her head was looking upwards.
Right.
I know you're picturing it. Everybody will be picturing it. And yeah, it is horrific.
As much as I'm
sounds.
thinking, I'm like, I'm probably going to have to Google that, because...
Well, yeah. I mean, when somebody describes something to me, no matter how horrific it sounds, I'm the same. I'm like, I don't know if I can quite picture that, so
Yeah.
I want to have a look. Google it now if you want and see what you think.
Yeah.
So, Jessica Renee Johnson. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's not nice. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So you see what I mean about her kneeling?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, at least they blurred out her face, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, you
Oh.
can't see.
Yeah. So do you not, I think you don't see a one with her, because you said you're just describing her lips here, is there
Yeah, well, I haven't seen one. I
Oh,
don't think
right.
I'd want to see that. I think that's enough. You know, the photo that
not? Yeah.
I did see, I think that's enough.
All right, okay.
It
Wow.
just looks very disturbing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Then you've got to say, like, how, if that was suicide, how would she manage that? Like, in the position that she is.
Yeah.
I don't really know how she would manage that. But no.
Well, yeah, I think that's everybody's thought, really, apart
Yeah.
from the police.
Exactly.
So, sorry, where am I? I went off track now. Yeah. So she wasn't wearing any makeup, which her family said would never happen.
Right.
Like Jessica was, she always wore makeup no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what she was doing, she always looked great. She took great pride in her appearance, and she would never be seen looking anything less than perfect. The hair was always done, the makeup was all, even if she was just nipping to the shop, everyone was always perfect.
Yeah.
And she was always like dressed really nicely as well. Always had really nice clothes on. So, obviously when this happened, she was wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt, and anyone that knows her said that they weren't her clothes.
Right,
She
okay.
just wouldn't wear.
So that's
something
not what she would wear.
No, that's not what she would wear, and she wouldn't buy anything like that. They're just not her clothes.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
So, her handbag was open on the ground and placed between her legs.
Uh-huh.
The hand was resting on a wallet in the bag. Her other hand was behind her. So the mailbox was waist high, and the shoestrings they weren't very strong. Okay, we've actually just had to stop recording there and moved locations because I'm sure you heard the dog barking in the background.
And this dog does not stop barking when it gets going, so it was
Yeah.
going to irritate us the whole time.
Yeah, that is my next door neighbour's dog, and she is lovely, but she constantly barks. She just wants attention all the time, and the kids were out playing, and they were hitting their football off the fence.
Yeah, because we were trying out a new location for recording, you see.
Yeah, we haven't told you. We've actually converted my little... I've got a little shed outside, and my husband converted it into a podcast office. So we decided to try like I've been doing my research in there, and we decided to try recording in there, which we've done one episode. We did record a Patreon episode in there, which was fine.
And we do hope to record more in the future, but of course it's the holidays here.
Yeah, it's
a
Easter
nice
holidays.
day, so it didn't quite work out for us.
It didn't quite work out, so I couldn't concentrate, which you probably could tell by my voice. I couldn't concentrate because all I could hear was the kids and the dog in the background. So we're in the house now.
Yep, reverting back to our normal location.
Yeah, we're back to where we usually are, and right, we'll just get back into it.
Get back in it, yeah, let's dive back in.
Yeah, let's dive back in. So, Jessica's family and friends didn't believe that this was suicide, obviously, as we don't believe it's suicide.
Well, as you realise, I did Google the picture, and just even looking at that picture, I don't think that's a natural, well, what I would class as a natural suicide position, if you could class it as that, but...
Yeah, I was watching something, and it said that... Oh, sorry.
I know, I was going to say, because the other thing is, if you see the photo, I mean, normally when somebody, like, hangs themselves, you know, they're hanging...
That's what I didn't understand as well. It's like saying that she was hung, but she's not actually hung because she's on the ground.
Oh, she's kneeling on the ground.
To me, hung is...
Oh, and you're
dangling down.
Yeah, which is obviously how you would hang yourself.
Yeah.
So in this case, I mean, to me, it's almost like somebody's tied her there, and they would have had to pull on.
It's like she'd been strangled.
Yeah.
On it, but as we'll get into, I think she was already killed before that. I think.
Do you think?
And then tied to it.
Right. Well, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, but what I was going to say, I was watching something, and statistics say that. Obviously, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there's so much a percentage, but a really high percentage of women, if they are going to take their own life, they will do it with pills.
Right. Okay.
That's the sort of more common way to do it.
Okay.
So, and this is not a normal way.
Well, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
So even our family and friends, they didn't believe it was suicide, and even if they did feel that she was suicidal, they all agreed that that's not the way that she'd do it. Our mum said if she did do it, she would have taken tablets. She said she would have taken tablets and gone to sleep looking like Sleeping Beauty. That's the way that she would have done it. Like, there was no way that Jessica would put herself on display like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
And I just don't see why anybody would.
No.
I mean, I get that people would do it in ways that maybe where they hang themselves. There is people who do it maybe like from a tree, but that would maybe be not in a public place. It would be in maybe a wooded area or
like a forest or something like that.
Yeah,
or they do it in their house in private and.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I can't see many people doing it in front of. In a street where people can just walk past and see you. Yeah.
But then you've got to say on the same token, would somebody that kills somebody be that stupid to put them on public display there as well?
Well, either or. That's the way it was done.
I just seemed an unusual place to be.
It's a very strange one. That's what drew me to it, because I was like, what a strange case.
Yeah.
So, Jessica's family and friends, they do believe that this was murder. And I've got to say, in my opinion, I think the same.
I mean, even just seeing, maybe, I'm not suggesting that everyone should go and look at the photo, but I suppose if you're interested in true crime, then you're used to seeing photos and stuff like that. So
most people probably will, but as I said, I didn't want to just catch somebody off guard and like put it on our social media, that maybe didn't want to see it.
Just seeing that photo makes me believe that that's not suicide.
Yeah,
personally, that's my opinion.
That's the same. So they believe it's murder, but on Jessica's death certificate, the coroner ruled her death as suicide caused by asphyxiation.
Right, okay.
She didn't overdose, but there was meth and Xanax in her system. Right. And Xanax was actually her drug of choice. She was addicted to Xanax.
Right.
And but she didn't overdose. It was the coroner ruled her death as suicide caused by asphyxiation. Can you even say that there? Mm. So the certificate stated that no autopsy was performed.
Why? But then how do they know what was in our system then if there was no autopsy?
Well, but I'm just trying to show a scene there. But I don't have an answer for that. But a private forensic scientist called Dr. Godwin, who was hired by the family to investigate the case, said a partial autopsy was performed. So I don't know why it said there wasn't. There was a partial one. But even if there was I don't understand why it would just be a partial one either. I think surely you would do a full autopsy.
Then obviously maybe they were just like, oh no, she's definitely died by suicide, so we don't need to.
So maybe we don't need to do a full one.
But then that's silly, because you shouldn't. Surely the whole point of an autopsy is for you to, search for every possibility of her death and then come to a conclusion from a thorough autopsy.
I just don't understand why anybody would come to look at that and come to the conclusion that was suicide, and be absolutely sure that it was suicide.
Yeah.
Why do they not?
I mean, yes, you could say it could be.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
I just don't understand that at all.
No, me neither.
So Dr. Godwin said by just looking at the photos that something was suspicious.
Well, that's what we've just said.
Yeah, I mean, he was asked, quote, "Is it possible from your expertise to successfully hang oneself from a 38-inch post with a shoelace?"
I don't know, because my question would be for somebody to try and reenact that in a sense, get somebody to recreate that scenario, and could it possibly be done? No. I mean, surely not.
You wouldn't think so. So his answer to that was, well, I've stopped using that term hang. and I prefer to use the term tied to. So, he's saying she wasn't hung, she was tied to the post.
Well, I would agree with him on that.
Yeah, totally. He met with Jessica's mum to explain why he believes that her daughter didn't take her own life.
Mm-hmm.
He said that based on the way the string was around her neck, she would never have passed out because there wouldn't be enough pressure to cut off the hair.
Because that's what I was saying with the whole hanging thing. I mean, that's the way that it cuts off your ears because you're then dangling. But if you're like tied like that, then how do you get enough to...
It just doesn't...
It doesn't make any sense.
No. He said that the positioning of the body against the mailbox also doesn't make sense. The majority of the pressure and the force was on her cheekbone, and in that position, Jessica would have been in excruciating pain.
Mm-hmm.
So she was supposedly she was supposed to be alive when she sat down there.
Right.
So she would have had to put up with that pain until she died, and he said that just wouldn't happen. Like it just wouldn't.
No, it doesn't make sense.
And if the shoelace could cause enough pressure to strangle her, Dr. Godwin said that there would have been a very noticeable scar left behind, which there wasn't. Which is why I was saying maybe that wasn't how she died. Maybe like she was just killed and then tagged it, because surely you'd have a mark on your neck.
Because it would be digging into your neck, wouldn't it?
Something else that he found suspicious is the knot used to tie the shoelaces together. It was so precisely tied close to the hand, so it would have been difficult to do, especially because it was, apparently when this happened it was dark, it was pitch black.
Right.
There was no street lights, so like surely you would, to tie a really good precise knot, you would need
it's
some
very
light.
close to yourself. I mean, if you're supposedly committing suicide, then how does that work?
It's just, see, this is why it's so confusing, this case.
Well, I don't even understand how at this point it was even considered a suicide. Because everything that you're telling me does not point to somebody killing themselves.
No, I know, totally. And also, the mailbox stands at 3 feet. So it's not very high.
Well, no, again, seeing the picture, it's not particularly high.
And it's not actually that stable. I did see a bit, I can't remember what it was on. I was looking at some video on YouTube. And there was a woman, I think she must have been I think she was interviewing somebody, I can't remember. My memory sucks. Anyway, what I do remember is she got a hold of the mailbox and she sort of leaned on it and moved it, and it wasn't stable at all. It moved, like,
so any kind of weight on it would have moved it.
Yeah, it's just it's unlikely that it would be able to take the weight of somebody hanging themselves. Like it's just
Which she hasn't. I mean, she has not hung herself. She's not hanging.
So Dr. Godwin said this was definitely a staged crime scene.
Well, yeah, I would agree.
And when he was asked what else was staged about it, and he said the handbag. He said that he said that if Jessica had hanged herself, her hand wouldn't have remained resting on the handbag. And he also questioned her hair, because her hair was actually entangled in the shoelace.
Right.
So, and some of it was touching her skin. Well, as a woman who has long hair, well, I don't really have much long anymore, but if anything's like touching, if my hair, you put your jacket on or a jumper, it's immediate, it's just, you pull your hair out, don't you?
Yeah,
it's
you
just
do
a
that.
natural reaction.
You don't want your hair tangled in it.
No.
So yeah, you do. You pull
you pull your hair out. But if she was trying to hang herself, she wouldn't want her hair in the way anyway, would she? She would want the shoelace touching her neck.
And I'm saying not laughing at all, but what makes me find it funny is like how if she was intending to hang herself, why on earth would she think that mailbox would do the job?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's just it's ridiculous.
It is, and that's why I'm saying I'm not laughing off a certain thing, but I mean I'm just laughing at the idea that is somebody has thought that this girl has tried to hang herself on a mailbox.
I don't understand it.
No.
So Dr. Godwin, he went to look at the mailbox for himself, and he noted that there were plenty of trees around. So if Jessica did want to hang herself, why would she choose a 3-foot mailbox when there were plenty of trees and they did have low enough branches for her to be able to get up there and do it?
Yeah. Well, exactly. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we always say, you never know what's going on in somebody's mind. You don't know.
No. To me, she's been murdered. She's been, for whatever reason, whether she's been murdered there or not, she has been put on display for somebody to find her in that position.
I think that's probably a common opinion, to be fair.
Yeah.
And he also says that Jennifer should never... Jennifer? Why have I called her Jennifer? I started calling her Jennifer.
I thought her name was Jessica.
It is. And I'm just looking at this paragraph that I've typed. And from now on I'll start calling her Jennifer. Oh my god.
Well, I'm glad you've realised.
That's...
What is her name?
It's Jessica.
Yeah.
Jessica Renee Johnson. Johnston.
Yeah. So, apology. Her name
Oh
is
my
not
god.
Jennifer.
Like, why would I say... Oh no, and then I'm just going back to the next page and I've started calling her Jessica again.
Well, you must have just...
That's so bad. I do apologise. That is terrible. I don't know. I have no excuse for that. I have no idea why.
Jessica.
Yeah. I apologise. That is terrible. That is really bad. So, Dr. Godwin said that Jessica should never have been cremated.
Oh, she cremated.
Yeah, and in their grief and confusion, her parents made the decision to cremate her due to financial issues. And they also believed that the police had the necessary evidence to investigate. They didn't think that
So they
they
wouldn't be
still
able to...
needed the body.
Yeah.
So obviously now they regret that decision because now they are convinced that Jessica needs justice.
Yeah, totally.
That's so weird, right? I didn't actually write Jessica there. Jessica needs justice, and then I went in the next paragraph calling her Jennifer again. That's so bad. Oh, right. Anyway, so and it's confusing as well because even though the investigation into Jessica's death was still open, they gave potential evidence to the family. Like, so the case was still open, and they gave them evidence, right? So they gave them, the police released the shoes that the laces came from.
Right.
But Dr. Goodwin examined those shoes, and it looked like there was blood, a splash of blood on the shoes. So surely that should have still been in police custody.
Oh, yeah, surely.
And they'd also released Jennifer's handbag to the family, and he noticed that the strap had been broken, so it looks like she could have been in a struggle because the part where the strap was broken, apparently it would take a lot to break it.
Yeah.
So it looks like she could have been in a struggle. So all this stuff should have been still at the police station. It should have been police custody. So, but not all the evidence was handed back to the family. Some of it's gone.
Come where?
Well, the shoelaces have been lost.
Right.
And so are the clothes that Jessica was wearing.
How?
I have no idea.
I mean, obviously, I'm no police expert or whatever, but from what I've seen on TV and stuff like that, they find evidence, they bag it, and then it goes into their evidence storage place in a box, and obviously they will, even if they are finished with the evidence, do they not keep it in that box until...
Yeah, and if somebody takes that evidence, do they not have to sign it out?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah, you have to sign it out and all that sort of stuff, so how can they just lose that?
Dodgy.
That sounds dodgy.
That does sound dodgy. So it's believed that critical evidence was destroyed from the start of the investigation. Police parked their cars way too close to the scene, and apparently potential witnesses were ignored.
Right.
The most overlooked thing seems to be the fact that the house that Jennifer was staying at, Jessie's house, it had CCTV. But the police never asked to look at that CCTV.
Why would you not look at it?
I have no idea. And Jesse, the owner, he didn't volunteer that either. And he said that he didn't look at it either because he couldn't remember the passcode. Now, I'm sure you would know the passcode for your own security.
Why have it if you don't know the passcode for it?
And, I mean, that footage probably would have caught exactly what happened.
Why would you not look at that? Even if you didn't remember the password...
Surely they could have got into it.
Well, the police should have people that hack into stuff like that. So, that's really bad.
And, well, I mean...
Why would the police not look at that, though?
The fact that they didn't even ask to look at it, why? Like...
I don't understand.
Because what's to say that the guy didn't volunteer the information and he says he doesn't have the passcode, which, that's a bit, Yeah. But, how do they... Like, surely they could have made him tell.
Well, I'm not even funny, but if you get if they're suspicious, and he didn't want to give it over, they would get a warrant, surely, to then be like, they'd be able to obtain it that way.
Yeah, surely.
Why would the police not get that?
I don't know.
I get, do you know,
It's annoying, isn't it?
Because, well, it's not the first time we've come across that when we've been talking about a thing and they've not taken CCTV.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're incompetent, and maybe they realise that they've fucked up. Maybe they've obviously. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for the police, can I?
No, I mean, I just have no idea why they wouldn't, if they were aware. I mean, because I'm assuming they must have been aware of it. Because surely the police's job is to, scout around the area and look for any potential sort of evidence, etc. So surely you would see a CCTV camera on the house, be like, oh right, they've got CCTV, brilliant, we'll get the tape. Is that not the first thing you would do?
We're not even police people, and we know that.
Oh yeah, that's what I understand.
You know what I mean? That's exactly why it's so.
There's potential evidence there. It's recording outside the house. It might have captured what happened on it. Surely, if it's working, it's captured what's happened.
Yeah, assuming it was working, then it would.
Yeah. I mean, we could go around in circles.
Yeah,
forever.
I know.
I just don't understand it, and it frustrates me.
I know that's what I mean. Like, when it comes to cases like this, I just wish there was an explanation.
Mm-hmm. Like, why didn't they do that?
I would love to know.
I mean,
why.
I can't even understand what a perfectly good explanation for not getting it would be, though.
No, I can't. I can't think of any excuse for that. There just doesn't seem to be any excuse.
I mean, unless I can't. The thing is, if we know about it, I mean, they must know about it because it couldn't it couldn't be like a hidden camera that they've not known about because then we wouldn't know about it. So it must be aware of it.
Yeah,
somebody must be aware of it.
It's just unbelievable. So Jessica's family saw post-mortem photos of her taken at the morgue, which I find a bit. Do people do that? Like, I wouldn't want to see a post-mortem photo of a loved one.
I mean, I know you would go. I'm assuming they would have been asked to identify her.
I get
so
like
they would
people.
See her.
Yeah, I get that people go and see their loved ones, but to actually be looking at photos, I don't know. I don't think I would.
Again, unless you're in that situation, I don't really.
I just wondered if that was a thing, if that was the done thing, or if that was out of the ordinary. Ordinary, I don't know if that is. To me, that's out of the ordinary because it's just not something that I would want. But like, as I said, I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
I just wondered.
I don't know.
Okay, but they noticed something strange that nobody had mentioned in the photos. Jessica's left arm, which is the one that was behind her in the photo of the mailbox, it was a bit of a mess. It looked like there was a shoe print on it, so it looks like, she's been stamped on. M's, you know? And there was also bruising around the wrist, and there was also lots of little burns in her skin, maybe like a chemical burn, like splatter.
I think I've seen the picture of
that.
that.
Yeah, that picture's there as well.
Yeah.
So, if anybody wants to look, that photo would be there as well. And her friend said there were like little holes in her hand, but yet no one questioned any of that.
Yeah.
How weird! Like, why was that not questioned? What was that? It just doesn't make sense. It's so annoying.
I don't get it.
Also, Jessica's iPhone was found in her bag, and that could obviously hold vital information, but no one can get into it as they don't know the passcode, right? Now, we have iPhones, we know how they work. I'm pretty sure that they could have used Jessica's fingerprint before they cremated her.
Well, it depends which iPhone it was, because we didn't all have. Not all iPhones have fingerprint recognition on it.
In 2017 we did.
Possibly.
Surely.
Well, it depends what iPhone she had though, because she might not have had one of the latest ones.
Well, she must have, because their family have said, why did they not do that? So
maybe they must have. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So, sorry, I didn't explain that, but yeah, she did have the fingerprint.
Right, okay.
Thingy.
Recognition,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, if they needed to get in her phone, why did they not do that? And also, which is really strange, is the phone was in her dad's name.
Right.
And her dad is alive and well.
Okay.
But yet Apple wouldn't unlock it. Yeah. If that phone is in his name, why would Apple not unlock it?
Oh yeah, because technically it's classed as his phone.
And plus, surely the police could make Apple unlock it.
Well, I was going to say, but if it's involved in a police investigation, then surely
they would have to. By law,
they would want to help, wouldn't they?
Well, yes, exactly.
That's what reason would they have?
Shame on you, Apple.
Well,
like,
yeah. Or no, was Apple really contacted and asked to do it? That's the other thing.
We don't know. I mean, we're just saying that. That's all we know. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's just the police saying, no, Apple wouldn't unlock it. But I'm sorry, I'm sure Apple would have to unlock it if the police...
Well, if the police were requesting them to.
And surely Apple, as you said, surely they would want to help. They've got nothing to do with it.
Well, exactly.
So,
That's weird.
It is.
That's weird.
So on the day that Jennifer's body was found, Jessica... Sorry, I just said Jennifer. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed. This is horrendous. In the same paragraph, I've got both names.
You really need to proofread your writing, but you're typing.
Do you know what? I don't do that. Like, I don't. I mean, that I know that's... People are going to listen to this and be like, what a shit podcast. Like, she doesn't even proofread. I don't. I just type it up and that's it. It's done.
Maybe you need to check the names first.
I think I'm going to have to. So, on the day that Jessica's body was found, her family said that her son received a text from his mum's phone at 3:29am.
Right.
Based on the reported condition of her body, it's estimated that Jessica had been dead for at least 8 hours when the mail carrier found her.
Right.
So that would mean that text was sent around the time that she died, or maybe even after.
Wow. Did it say what the text said?
All it just said was that she was going to be spending the day with Garland.
Right, okay.
But that's weird to me. Why would you text your
it?
son at that time in the morning to tell him that?
Yeah. I don't get
Surely you would only text somebody at that time in the morning with an emergency.
Yeah. Exactly. Because
like,
not many people are... Not everybody's up at that hour. I mean...
Yeah, you just wouldn't, would you? I mean,
no.
like, if...
Not with that information. I mean, come on.
If you want to text your son and say, oh, I'm going to be spending the day with my boyfriend, surely you would just wait till, like, the morning.
Oh, till you
Wait
got
till
out
you
your
get up,
bed, yeah.
Get up and say, right, I better text him and right,
Yeah.
I'm spending... So, yeah, that...
Yeah, that's strange.
I think, to me, that sounds like somebody was just...
Trying to cover their tracks and make it look like she was alive.
Yeah, to me, it looked like she was alive at that time.
Mm.
So I saw an interview with Jesse, who owns the house where Jessica was found. And he wouldn't show his face on camera. And I thought, okay. There is reasons for that, isn't there?
Of course.
But if you've got nothing to hide, well, why not? But he might just be shy.
Well, that's true.
I'm not judging.
No.
Well, maybe just a little bit. He said that before that night, he hadn't seen Jessica and Garland together for months.
Right.
And he said that something seemed off when they arrived at his house that night. He said that Jessica didn't seem her normal self, and by the next day the couple had got into a huge fight.
Right.
Jessica had locked herself in the bathroom, and she called one of her friends to come and pick her up.
Right.
But when the friend got there, she was stopped by Garland before she got
Mm-hmm.
into the house, and he said that Jessica was the one who was being irrational and causing all the problems, and that he couldn't handle her anymore, and maybe she should take her home and get her out of there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened while she was there, but after about 45 minutes, Jessica's friend left, but Jessica didn't go with her. She decided to stay. She must have said, no, you know what?
It's fine.
Everyone's fine.
Well, I wish you had went.
But yeah, she must have assumed, the friend must have assumed everyone was okay for her to leave her, because from what I've seen on a documentary that I watched, her friends, she does seem to have really supportive friends that would never leave her, would never, you know, they just wouldn't do that to her.
Yeah.
If they thought that she was in any kind of danger, they would have just got her out of there.
Yeah.
So Jessie said that Jessica texted him later when she had left the house. She said in this text to Jessie that she didn't want to feel the pain anymore. One of Jessica's friends saw that text, and later, obviously afterwards, and she said that it just seemed like Jessica was frustrated.
Right.
You know, maybe with the way that things were going in the relationship.
Well,
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Not that she wanted to leave this world, but that she just didn't want to deal with the rocky relationship that she was in.
Which is a normal sort of thing that you would expect someone to say, really.
Well, she didn't want to feel... I mean, that can be interpreted in different ways. She didn't want to feel the pain anymore.
Yeah.
Depending on circumstance. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody wants
to die.
To kill themselves.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally.
But Jesse said that one of his roommates saw Jessica and Garland arguing in the driveway, and that she pulled her shoelaces out of her shoes and said she was going to kill herself. And I know you're kind of making faces at me, and I think you're feeling the same way as I am, that just doesn't... It sounds like a bit of a cover-up, like... You know, it just doesn't sound right, does it?
I'm not overly convinced on that.
No. He said that Garland just shrugged it off and told her to go away, and he shut the door on her. Right. And he said that it was about 6 p.m, and after that apparently no one saw Jessica again.
Right.
So Jessie said that there were at least 6 people at the house that night, just coming and going, on both days that Jessica was there. So he reckons that her body was placed there shortly before she was found, because otherwise, surely somebody would have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
She couldn't have been there since 6 o'clock that night.
No.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, because somebody would have seen it.
Yeah.
So he said that whatever happened to her didn't happen to her there. So he reckons that, you know, whatever happened.
But then if that was at his house, was he not aware that she wasn't? She maybe went to his bed or something and wasn't.
Well,
I mean, how can you say that it didn't happen there?
Because she wasn't in the house.
Well, yeah, I know she wasn't in the house.
So-
She was staying there, but
Yeah, but she'd left. That was her. She'd gone at 6 o'clock and she'd never been seen. But
so she'd actually gone away from the house.
Yeah,
at six,
she'd
but-
gone-
oh, right.
yeah.
I thought you meant just that she was maybe still there, but nobody had
No.
really seen her.
she'd left the house,
Right,
and
okay.
that she never came back.
And she appeared back there, attached to the mailbox.
Yeah. So basically, what he's saying, that it didn't happen there,
Right.
and it didn't happen either in the house or outside the house, because she would have been. Well, no, it could have happened like later on when nobody
Right.
else was there, but she wasn't there since, I don't know. Basically, we're saying we don't know where she was from 6 o'clock.
Right. Okay.
She wasn't hanging from the mailbox from 6 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
But he does admit that there was something suspicious about her death.
Well, show them the bloody CCTV.
Right, exactly. He said the way that she was tied, it didn't look like she would be able to do that to herself.
Well, yeah, we've established that one.
Yeah. But he doesn't believe that Garland had anything to do with it either. Because
Right.
he's Garland's friend, though, so we just...
Oh yeah. Okay.
Jessica's mum, however, isn't so sure. She says that whatever happened to Jessica, she believes that Garland knows more than he is telling.
Oh, okay.
And there's a girl who she wouldn't reveal her identity, but she said that she knows that Garland didn't do it because he was with her. She said he was with her all night.
So he was having a wee affair with this.
But apparently. With this girl. Yeah, they were.
But see, to me, that's an easy alibi to say to somebody.
Yeah. And Garland said in an interview that he does think that someone murdered Jessica,
Right.
but he doesn't believe that she would, because he doesn't believe that she would do that to herself.
Uh-huh.
But he denies having anything to do with it. And that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of the story. Like, it's just classed as suicide.
That is not a suicide. No, don't believe it. Don't think for 1 minute that's a suicide.
I no, and the only suspect to me seems to be Garland.
Yeah.
But if they have no evidence, if they can't, you know,
So like, is this a
why
case
are
of-
they not? Why, I mean, I don't even know if they investigated. It doesn't. I don't know if they investigated murder,
Right.
or if they just went, no, it's suicide, and that's it. Because surely they would investigate the boyfriend, the people at that house.
The CCTV.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't.
but then maybe that's why they didn't check the CCTV. But then surely, even if it was suicide, then they would want to check the CCTV to see how she did it and
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure that it was actually suicide.
Well, yeah, I know. Even if they weren't suspecting murder in it, they could still look at the CCTV and confirm what's happened to her.
The whole case does not make sense.
No, and now I'm going to be annoyed because I'm like, I want to know what happened to her, but
Well, yeah, we don't know what happened. I mean, for one thing, we don't think that she was that she did it to herself.
no.
So we do think that she was murdered, but then that just opens a whole big can of worms.
Like,
Why was she murdered? Who was she murdered by?
How was she murdered?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, there's just
what
no
led
answers.
what led to her being attached to that mailbox?
Why?
Why? Yeah,
Yeah.
why there?
Is it there? It's
Oh,
just...
that's one of those. Now it's going to annoy me.
Oh, I frustrated you.
Yeah.
And do you not like me for the rest of the day?
No.
I know, but
Not that I mean, it's a shame because I mean, it's a shame that we're even having to talk about this story because it's a shame that she's obviously died in whatever way she has died. But at least I like to know what's actually happened to them. So that you can,
yeah. I know. I
understand
get it. I mean, it's. But can you imagine how it feels for her family and her
God,
friends?
I know.
How? I mean, we're annoyed. We're frustrated.
I know. We're
And we
across the
haven't
other
got-
side of the world and don't even know her.
Exactly. They've obviously got the grief and everything that comes along with it. They've lost their loved one.
Yeah.
So how they must feel, I have no idea, because
I know, because that's it. Because I mean, even if obviously having to deal with the fact that she's dead, but surely you want to know what's happened to them, even though how hard that must be. You would still want to know what's happened to them,
Definitely.
so that you could at least.
And whoever's done it should be getting punished for it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because I don't think for 1 minute that she's, one, done it to herself, but two, been able to do that to herself. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It doesn't.
And that's what makes it so frustrating, because if it had been in another way, if she had done it to herself and she had, as you know, maybe hanged herself from a tree, if she'd overdosed, you know, the multiple different ways that there is to do it, then I have no idea what I was going to say.
Well, I have no idea either.
Yeah, like.
But you could accept
you can accept that she'd done it. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. You can accept that she'd done it, but in this circumstance, why? I just don't understand why that's not been investigated. That is not a clear-cut suicide.
No. I wouldn't even thought it was to start with. I mean, just by seeing the picture of her.
If I'd been that mail carrier, I wonder what that mail carrier thought. The one that found her. Because if I think that if I'd stumbled across that scene, I think my first thought would be murder. I think. Obviously, I don't know. Yeah. But from looking at the photo, I don't think that my immediate thought would have been suicide.
No.
Surely not.
Not even a slight thought. I mean, apart from the fact you've actually said that that's what they said, if you just showed me that picture and explained to me how she was found, etc., I would not for 1 minute have said that was suicide.
Well, you didn't.
Well,
when I first said to you, you know, I just basically said she was hung by the mailbox, and you're just like, no, that's just not.
So how an actual, what you're supposed to call an experienced police person that deals with all this stuff, and that's their job, how they could actually think that?
It's a whole department. Well, you know, it's not just one person.
Well, yeah. So I mean, but how they could come to that conclusion?
And even like the coroner and stuff like that as well. Like, just.
I don't like, unless we're totally missing something.
I would like to add that this is totally our opinion.
Yeah, you know, we're no experts.
We obviously have no idea what happened. Obviously, nobody else does. Nobody has no. The only people who know is the person who done it to her. If that was murder, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't just say that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for me, that's murder. That's not suicide.
So I'd be interested to hear on anybody else's thoughts.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, especially if anybody does think it was suicide, I would love to hear your point of view. I mean,
yeah, like why would you think that was suicide?
Yeah, of course. I would love to because you know maybe we're missing something. You know, but even her family and friends, they don't think. And that guy, the private forensic guy, he doesn't think so either. But yeah, if anybody does think it was suicide, I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
And anybody's thoughts for that.
Yeah, of course. On any of our cases.
Absolutely.
I'd love. I mean, you know, some people have started to interact.
Yeah,
on social media. You know, I have been. You know, people have been saying
a few bits and
pieces. So it's nice to get a bit of interaction,
well, yeah,
so that we know that we're not just talking to ourselves.
Well, no, exactly.
There is people out there listening.
And I love to hear other people's opinions, because at the end of the day, we all have different opinions on stuff. So.
Of course, and I'm totally willing to hear anybody else's opinions, because at the end of the day, everybody has their opinions. And just because we think that doesn't mean to say that is right.
No, exactly. I'm not for 1 minute saying that we're like a totally 100% right on anything, but we have our opinion, we voice it, and.
But this is I'm sorry to say this, for me, this is a very strong opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like this, I'm very strong opinionated on this one, that that was not a suicide. Like, and I mean, if it actually ever was proved it was, then we will. Well, no, I just think, all right, like. That's. I don't actually know. Like, how can you? Yeah,
I don't know. I think we'll just end it here.
Yeah, I think so.
So, thanks for listening. And if you would like to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, we are
crime_divers_pod.
We have a Facebook page,
Crime Divers Podcast.
You can email us at
crime_divers_pod at outlook.com. Sorry, totally
we have a YouTube
Crime Divers Podcast.
If you would like to support us on Patreon, prices start from as little as £1 a month, and you can, for that £1 a month, you can get ad-free episodes. So I know a lot of people like that. You
get two extra episodes a month that we have on Patreon.
Yeah, but not for the £1 a month.
Oh, not for the pound a month, sorry.
That's £5 a month.
Sorry.
I was just saying, because a lot of people don't like adverts, so if you don't want the adverts, you can pay as little as £1 a month just to get the ad free. Oh, we're rubbish at trying to plug ourselves, aren't we? Anyway, where are we? I've just made up a TikTok yesterday. Haven't got a clue how to use it, so I mean, I don't even know what the username is for it. I think it's just Crime Diaries Podcast.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
If you want to have a look, then on you go.
But you might see us on the For You page, I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know. We're not good on TikTok because we're old and we don't really...
We're learning. Learning.
Yeah, I'll never figure
We've
it
still
out.
got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And obviously don't forget the important though, if you do actually, for some strange reason like us, and want to keep listening to our wonderful car crash episodes, then please subscribe,
Rate and review. Bye.